Hello, you guys. I always like to give you a few minutes, and I know it's a holiday weekend, so you guys might not be as present because you might be at barbecues or coming back from barbecues tonight. So, one, you have logged in, just do two things. One, give me a thumbs up, and secondly, tune in and let me know, or type in and let me know where you're tuning in from, and if this is your first time that you're ever joining me. So I always like to give a few minutes, get everybody here. Oh, people are popping in. Hello, Shayna. Hello, Aisha. And everybody over there on Facebook. Hello, good evening. I might have to turn you guys a little bit towards me. Woo! So Facebook people, you guys can stay there on Facebook, of course. But as I always mention and remind you guys that I really only answer questions that people are posting on my YouTube, which is the screen right in front of me. And yeah, so you can join me. You could stay here and tune in and listen, but you can also literally go onto my YouTube channel and be able to interact more in depth with me. So those of you who are posting where you're from: Greenwich, Connecticut. Hello, Carolyn. Glens Falls. Walk Hill, Baltimore. Hello, Baltimore. So far away. Walk Hill. Yep. That's so far away from me. Monroe. Let's see. From Wappingers. I thought it said D. Cavarici right there. Remember those pants, Cavarici pants? Hey, Eileen and Rhonda. Hello. And let's see. I feel like romper room every time I do this. Jackie. Hello. Bergen County's tuning in. Let's see. Who else? Kelly. Hello. Rich. Hello. Robin. Mary. Sarah. Tiana from Albany. Hello. Livingston, New York. Where is that? I feel like I should know that. I'm glad to see you're back. Thank you. Hi, Miss Shelley. Oh my God, you're tuning in from the thruway, and I hope Tony is driving, which I'm pretty sure he is. Hey, Patty, top fan right there. Dana and Beth and Sarah, Jessica. Oh, get it, Sarah, Jessica. Sharon, let's see. So yeah, hit the thumbs up button for those of you tuning in on YouTube, and let me know if you can hear me right. I feel like this is not in the right spot. And North Carolina's tuning in. So for those of you who are following me on Facebook, you already know this, but this weekend, Greg and I have rebuilt our front walkway. So we have this big home, and the builder, when he made this house, made a walkway like this tiny for the front of our house. And it drove me crazy. Since the moment we looked at this house, it had no feng shui and no energy about the outside of the house at all. There was no landscaping, no trees, nothing, no flowers. And now we're coming up to we're going to be here 3 years in August, and we're finally able to rip up the other walkway. And we just put down this big, huge, elaborate walkway, front little patio area. We did it ourselves, which is, to me, well, let me say this. If I had like the $20,000 to have someone else do this, I totally would have done that. So I'm not going to be like, yeah, I'm a do-it-yourselfer and I love it and I live for it. Nope. I would have definitely have rather have paid someone to go and just do what we want. But we didn't have the $20,000, so we did ourselves. And now, because we did it and we completed it almost, I feel so like accomplished. So that's what I kind of want to talk about on a holiday weekend. The worst thing to talk about on a holiday weekend is feeling productive and accomplished. But I don't know, that always puts me in a really good space in my head. People don't think this about me, but I am the laziest human being you can imagine. And I love to do nothing. And I think I'm pretty good at it, of doing nothing. And Greg said I just about killed you. He's not lying about that. But yeah, I just know that I just feel so much better when I'm working on something and I'm doing a project and I'm getting it done. And that is so important for my mental health. The days that I relax and I keep telling myself I can relax and do nothing, I still stress that I didn't do something productive. And I bet you a lot of you can totally relate to that. We like to feel productive. So yeah, I did almost kill Greg. Not intentionally, shockingly. So I was in that mindset of like, go, we gotta, we gotta finish. So like I think he is some sort of like Native American in his blood because I think he privately went off and did a rain dance because I don't even remember yesterday, Sunday. I all of a sudden we're like, oh, we're gonna do this. And in my head, I'm like, we're doing this till like midnight. We're gonna set up lights and we're gonna get this done. I was thinking that last night so that Monday we could relax. And like almost as soon as I had that thought, the heavens opened up and it started to rain and we had to stop, which thank God we did. So thank God, Greg, you did the rain dance. I'm sure you did it because it came out of nowhere. It was so beautiful. And then bloop, it rained. So um yeah, so that left us to relax last night and then start up and finish today. By relaxing last night, I literally mean both of us were like, ow, ow, ooh, ow, can't move. Oh my God, can't walk, ow. So that's the state we're in. But I feel accomplished and it looks good. So hello, Antonetta, you're in Myrtle Beach tonight. That's excellent. So how have you guys ever done like big home improvement projects and feel really good about them? Because I do. My body does not at all. I have clearly not used a lot of muscles that hate me right now. Greg lifted over 10,000 pounds this whole weekend of concrete bags. So 10,000 pounds. That I couldn't do. No way. I didn't try that stuff. But all good. So what do we have on the docket? Let's see. Oh, sorry, Laura. Yeah, his rain dance totally rained on your swimming time. Yeah, I swear, all of a sudden, I'm like, he was thinking, like, I think we should probably stop for the day. And I'm like, what? Stop now? Why? My hands are, should I even show them? I don't even know if you can see it. Like, no, you can't even see it. I look like a baby, but like, they're destroyed. My nails are done, but I love it. I feel great. And I love it. And we're going to do a lot more. So, stay tuned we're going to become like a do-it-yourself channel. That's what it's. Spiritual do-it-yourself. Spiritual do-it-yourself. DIY. Yeah, that's what we're going to be. Anyway, how are you guys tonight? Let's see. Yes, Christy, you also feel like you need to be productive. Yep, I have to have something. Ooh, Grace, I'd like to see pictures of what you've done to your lawn. I want ideas. Oh, that's good. For those of you who know anything about plants and flowers, send some my way that are deer resistant because I love the little deer in our yard and I throw berries and all our fruit to them all the time. But yeah, if they eat my plants, I'm gonna kill them. I'm pissed. So we need deer resistant kind. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you can get on too, Kathy. You're sore too, Colleen. Why are you sore? I didn't see. Did you post why you were sore? Let me know. For those of you on Facebook too, it's a little bit more boring, I think, from Facebook because I'm not really paying attention to your comments over there. But if you want to jump onto my YouTube channel, you can. And let's see. Yeah, I think we should start making our home like a community center, and then we could have a community garden, and that means all of you could come over and plant shit for us. That'd be fantastic. Because here's the thing. Here's what I'm a little nervous about. I'm infamously really bad with plants, and I pretty much kill everything. And I always say, like, I think I'm just good with dead things. So I'm really good with that population. So I think all the flowers and plants that I usually try to grow, they don't really do it. So yeah. Oh, Lee, you're back from Istanbul. That's pretty cool. Oh, Colleen, 2 20-hour shifts. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see. The deer eat them and the bunnies. Ay, ay, ay. To be careful. I wasn't in the woods today, Eileen. Thankfully, I was not. Well, nope, that's not true. So I have all these solar lights in our backyard. I'll take a picture one of these days. And I wrapped them around a lot of our trees, like 10 or 15 trees out there. So at night, all my trees and the tree trunks glow. Ladies, let me tell you, there's nothing that gets me more excited and happy when I see my trees, like we have like forest back there, and when I see them lit up, I just like love it. So this is all I want to talk about tonight, but it's probably not all you guys want to talk about. I have a couple of classes coming up. I have a mediumship class, Introduction to Mediumship. There's 4 classes that are on the schedule. They will operate independently, so if you can only make one of the classes, then that's okay. Obviously, it's better to do it all 4, but that's on my website. I'm, of course, forgetting the date it starts. Let's see, June. I think it's June 8th. It's a Sunday morning. Oh, it's Father's Day. Ugh, I know. Sorry, guys. Father's Day morning, I'm going to have an early morning meditation and then following up with the Introduction to Mediumship class. So that's all on my website, and you can check that out. I have not taught that in years. I am like really excited to get that going again because so many people have posted that they are dying for that class. Oh, no pun intended, right? They're really looking forward, I should say, to that class. So check that one out. And then don't forget my class for healers. I'm telling you, if you are a healer and you want to work better and be a better healer, my energy transformation awareness class is it, because a healer needs to know their own shit. And you need to be very, very, very aware of what is your stuff and what is not, because you can never, in a true healer cannot put their stuff onto a person, a client that they're working with. So if you're a healer in any facet, whether that's being a teacher, whether it's being a nurse, whether that's working with energy, whatever your job is, this class is perfect. It's great to move this old stuck crap energy that we have from our past. And that class starts in September. So I only allow 20. I've had a few signups already. So I know it'll be packed out by the time we get to the end of the summer. So start planning accordingly for that. And that's energy transformation awareness. You could always email me too for more information. So let's see, what do we have? Comments here. So yeah, tell me, you would like to plant flowers for me? Oh my God. Anytime, Grace. Anytime. You worked on your flower. Oh, wasn't this weather? If you're in the Northeast, the weather is so beautiful and life is so much better when weather is nice. Oh, Kyle was in Canada all weekend. Oh, do you know what this is, guys? Hibiscus wine. Yes, hibiscus wine. Well, it's hibiscus iced tea that I put in a wine glass to make me feel like I'm drinking wine, and therefore I'm calling it my hibiscus wine. So yeah, hibiscus tea, it's like my new obsession. So let me get to your questions. Where are we? Yes, Veronica, thank you. Veronica's just said, for everybody over here at Facebook, she just said she switched over from Facebook and this is much better. I promise you this is a better view. Behind me, you see like this crap big giant green screen. And right before I tried to go on live here tonight, I tried to make the background my backyard, but that wasn't working. So right now we're just in the room that we call the library in our house because I have a ton of books in it. That makes sense, right? Oh my goodness. Oh boy, Lee, you are going to be jet lagged from Istanbul. That's so cool. I can't wait to hear about it. Okay, let's see. Laura, I'm reading Laura's comment. Let me add it to the broadcast. It's going to go right in front of my face. No, it's not. Okay. You've been listening to Essential Oil Symposium where they have different lectures. One you listen to is about stuck energy and how that can physically affect us. I thought about you saying that. Yes, stuck energy is what literally is the crux of all illness, all physical disease, mental, emotional disease. It's just stuck, stagnant energy, and energy needs to keep moving. So that's pretty cool. Essential oils, I'm also into those lately as well. Oh, Colleen's getting a puppy tonight. So what do you guys want to talk about? I could talk about my like home improvement stuff because I'm ridiculous, but I don't think you want to hear more about that. I told you about my hibiscus wine, which is really just hibiscus tea in a wine glass. that I brewed myself. I did with a tea bag. That still counts, right? Yeah, I don't know. What else? What else? All right, so like let's start with your generic overall questions. I know it's a holiday weekend. I'll probably end this shorter tonight because my muscles, it appears that I'm being held up, but my muscles are screaming at me right now and I can't wait to put my legs up on the wall. It's such a healing, energizing and relaxing thing. If those of you who haven't done it, it's amazing. You just put your butt right up against the bottom of your wall and your legs straight up and it reverses the circulation in your legs. Talk about stuck energy. Oh my gosh. I have um let's see. I have a picture of Greg. I don't think I'll post it though. I think I'll be kind, but I have a picture of Greg. I had him do the legs up the wall last night because we literally were in so much pain. I'm like, this is gonna help you. And he's like, I can't even get on the floor to put my legs up. So, but it's really good. After this podcast, whatever you want to call it, after it, try it. If you could do it for just like 3 minutes, you could do it up to 10 minutes, well, as long as you want, but your toes will get tingly. So, um, so yeah, everyone should try that. Okay, good. Now I'm seeing questions pop in. Okay, so we're not gonna do intuitive personal questions tonight. You do not want me answering those right now because I literally am like, ugh. So tonight would be not like my best strong intuitive, hey, let me give you intuitive guidance. This would not be the night. This night would be like, let's not hear from Deborah intuitively because my brain is like, so. Okay. So generic questions. Oh, here's one from Aisha. Are there foods that keep you at a higher vibration, like no white sugar? Absolutely. I wish this wasn't so. I'm notorious for having a really poor diet. I have been working on that a lot in the last 2 weeks, actually. Um, but yeah, sugars of any kind are terrible. Any artificial sugars are terrible. Anything with vibrant color, that, so like if you're, they say like you could eat food and have it invigorate your, like raspberries, they're red. They will invigorate your root chakra. So um you know, I'm reading your questions and trying to answer the question. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. This is gonna be a shit show tonight. So yeah, so foods, fresh, obviously the fresh vegetables, fruits, those are really the best. I am a big believer in meat. I like to eat meat. Um, Stop, everyone, stop. Let's all just grow ourselves up and be the adults that we are and not regress to 10. But I do. But some people, but my body does well. Like I feel very grounded and rooted eating meat. Even something like chicken. I just learned this, that chicken does not really ground me because chickens fly and they're not grounded animals. But something like a cow is very grounded, so that grounds me. And I do usually feel really so much better and energized after I've had some sort of like beef. So it's, that part depends on your body and your makeup and all of that stuff. There's Ayurvedic medicine. I just learned that there's a place in Newburgh that I have to visit soon. So yeah, there's lots of foods, but anything that's fake is definitely not good for our vibration, unfortunately. They say wine and alcohol's not. I highly disagree. It's fabulous for my energy. Um, but they do say that alcohols are not good. And like before reading, I wouldn't do alcohol just because then I would really have no filter. But stick with the fresh fruits, the same thing we hear all the time. Hibiscus, I'm learning a lot about from the medical medium, actually. I'm reading his books. So the whole celery juice craze and all of that stuff. And he has us drinking hibiscus tea every night. And it's just cold now because that's how I made it. Oh, why is 15? Okay, Jackie, why is chapter 15 such a difficult chapter to swallow? Let me just be reminded which one is 15. One moment, please. Ooh, what happens when we die? That would be partly the reason, because it's one of those things. 197. Tell me what it is about it that you um that is you're having a hard time with? I'm just like, I have to like scan it. It's not like I didn't write the damn thing, but oh my God, I don't know what I just said, let alone what I wrote. So tell me more about that, Jackie, because I'd like to. Talking about the book is always a good thing. So thank you. Um. Yes, Linda, legs up the wall. I'm telling you guys, it's super, super, super healing. So if you want, to be, you're going to be relaxed but energized at the same time from it. So yes, yeah, you guys like burgers too. Let me tell you, I make the best burgers. Oh my God, I'm sounding like I'm so full of myself. I suck at all other cooking, trust me, and flours and all of that. But I do make the best cheeseburgers on the planet. And I'll give you my little secret recipe. I put shredded cheddar cheese into the mix and taco seasoning all into the mix. Oh my God, you can thank me later. Try it. It just adds just a tiny little kick. It's amazing. And I made that up myself. I was like, oh, one day, like, oh, I'll make tacos. And I was like, shit, no, I'm not. I'm going to make burgers. And then it worked out. So let's see. So I'm not going to take any personal intuitive questions tonight, only because like I was saying, like I had this would not be a good night for me to do intuitive questions, only because I'm so shot, so tired. So tonight I'm not doing anything specific intuitive, but generalized stuff. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm happy to see that, Leanna, you did meditation while you were in Turkey. That's amazing. If you have wine and or spicy hot food, does it impact your reading? Wine would. Wine would definitely impact my reading. Spicy hot food would not impact my reading. So I love spicy food. Love, love, love spicy food. Like I almost like when my nose starts to run, that kind of spicy. So just wine. Okay, Adina. Let's see. Adina, what can I say about empaths dealing with narcissists? So, um, there's so much social media directed and guided around this whole empath meets narcissist collaboration duo, and every single narcissist finds an empath, and every empath typically finds themselves a narcissist, and this is why they have such toxic relationships. And I think it's dangerous information to be placed as a whole because sure, there are definite times when a certain type person will gravitate to another type person. And that could be toxic. It could also be amazing. So I don't like all this literature because let's put it this way. I always try to think of the other, the other shoe, I always ruin these things. I don't know these sayings and the phrases, but I always try to think of the opposite side. When we're hurt, say you're an empath and we know this and you pick up on other people's energy and yes, you want to heal the world and you want to take on other people's shit. Never will help us, by the way. Taking on anyone else's shit is never going to solve anything. So the empath needs to look at that and not praise that and think like, oh, this is my gift and skill. They need to go, ooh, this is my tendency and I need not do that. That's very important. But when you're in a relationship and you're jilted, whether you're right or wrong, whether say the person cheated on you, right? And that kind of really puts things in a perspective of like, all right, well, they cheated on me, so I have no more trust for them, and so the entire dynamic of the relationship changed. What tends to happen is the person who was jilted becomes like, well, I would never do that. And I didn't do this. And look at this. And they're so horrible and this and that. And it creates this whole divide that, you know what? It's just a lot of energy wasted. And I think we all do it. I've done it myself. We do it for being validated that we're a good person. And I really want you guys to think about that. How many times do you feel like you have to validate yourself? Like, no, I'm a really good person. Like, no, I do this because, if you're a good person, you really are just a good person. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes good people are really shitty people too. And I know that firsthand because I really think I'm a really good human being. Sometimes I'm really shitty. Sometimes I'm really like, fuck that. Oh my God, I'm over it. So I think we all kind of need to like get away from all these labels of narcissism and empaths and this and that. Every single one of us, if you read the definition of a narcissist, we should all fit that, right? Nobody ever goes, um, gee, highly abusive to other people, either verbally or physically. No one always go, no one, nobody, not even like the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world go, yep, that's me. Doesn't give a regard for other humans. Yep, nope, I don't give regard. No one does that. No one is going to see and really, really claim their negative traits on all sides, whether you're Mother Teresa or whether you're, this horrible human being. So I want people to look at that. And then the person jilted is normally like, oh, but they did this and they did that. Well, yeah, but they're a person too. And they either are aware of they're doing it, which is a pretty shitty thing to do, or they're unaware of that they're doing it, which is whatever those reasons. So I don't like the whole, the whole thing about the labeling and that empaths and narcissists, because really it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve anything. If you use it for the information and go, wow, could I be a narcissistic personality? And let me tell you, if you all say no, there's no way I'm a narcissistic personality, then you are not being totally honest with yourself. That I'm not saying everyone's a narcissist. That's different. But if you read, the characteristics of a narcissist, a part of you should fit into that statement, because I'm like, oh shit, am I a narcissist? Oh my God. Like I read some of those things and I do think like, oh my God, do I do that? So I don't know if that answers you, like, or looking for the answer that you want. But yeah, at the same time, people who like to fix people or think they can fix people, especially in relationships, if your job is to help people, that's one thing. In a relationship, it's not your job to fix a person. In fact, it's important not to. But you have to look at that. Empath is not holier than thou just because they can feel other people's information and feeling, unless they're doing something with it, something productive with it. I have family members who are extremely empathic, and it did not do them any good whatsoever. So not learning what to do with it is really, really detrimental, not only to yourself, but everybody around you. That's a really good topic though, because so much is out there about this dynamic, and it's helpful to read. It's helpful when you are in a relationship that the other person does make you think like all the problems are you, which if you're ever in a relationship where all the problems are you, I'm pretty sure all the problems are not you. So it takes getting some psychologically savvy involved in that. So does that answer it? You guys can keep posting other questions about that. Oh, that's not a dumb question, Patty. Is there a connection with addiction and negative energy, or is this a really dumb question? Totally not a dumb question at all. I'd have to pull apart addiction, because an addiction is a compulsion of something, right? You have to do this thing again, whether you're physically addicted or you just need to do it because you have a psychological addiction. I really do not believe that addiction itself is a negative or evil or anything about negative energy whatsoever. It's a psychological trigger, and it's a development and a phase in development that occurs for a multitude of reasons. And there's no good or bad on that. It happens. It honestly happens. Nobody on the planet starts off and says, God, yes, I hope I get addicted to this heroin. This is going to be great. Hope I lose everything. No one says that. No one thinks that. No one wishes that. So addiction itself is not negative energy at all. What comes because of addiction will lead to negativity, because there's stress, any compulsion of anything, even working out too much, even if we think it's a good compulsion, anything that's over the top can lead to excess stress somewhere else. So addiction itself is not negative. No, life happens. We're humans. The ramification that comes from addiction, the not dealing with the issues that led you to that addiction, whatever they were, that is always going to end up in a negative space. And then it comes around positive. I do believe that, rehab and whatever your addiction is, then brings you back to center and makes you stronger and grow too. So addiction is sad, I think. I always feel like it's the grace of God that my addictions are sugar and chocolate chip cookies and crap and shit. Because mostly I take the fallout for that. I'm like, oh, these pants so fit. Oh my God, this. Oh my gosh, I should stop doing this, blah, blah, blah. But it really doesn't infiltrate the rest of my family. So addictions of drugs, alcohol, sex, gambling, all those are much harder because it starts to affect everybody else around you, which leads to negativity. So that's a great question. That's a great question, not a dumb one at all. Ooh, adding barbecue sauce to meat mix. Oh, brilliant. And it makes it moisty, moist. Everyone hates that word, right? I don't mind that one. Johanna, let's see. Where's that Ayurvedic place in Newburgh? It's called Bliss. Bliss. If you look up Ayurvedic Center in Newburgh, it'll pop up. I'm pretty sure it's Bliss. There's Bliss Kitchen, and then there's this Bliss Ayurvedic Center. They have yoga there that I can't wait to try. So it's very, very cool. I have not been there either myself, so I don't have like a firsthand, or nor do I know anybody who has. It doesn't mean they haven't. Obviously, they're thriving in Newburgh, but I'm not endorsing them yet because I haven't like been there myself. So if you go and it's horrible, one, let me know. And two, please don't blame me for that yet because I haven't gone there. Let's see. Jackie, I mentioned in that chapter, so going back to your question about chapter 15 in my book, some are scared to death of death. That's you, just a general difficult topic. Death is a difficult topic. I think a lot of people are really scared to death of death. And what I really, really, really feel is the crux of that is there is a intense fear of living and like getting out of your shell and stepping forward and putting yourself in the discomfort zone. I think more people who have a harder time doing those things have more of an intense fear of death. So think about it that way. It's like, your death, remember, the book explains this. Death is just an end of one something moving into the birth of another. I mean, it's a constant cycle. You cannot have rebirth without death. Who we all were by the beginning of this night is not the same exact person who we are already, however many minutes into this we are. 33 minutes in, we're changed. So part of us died and there's regeneration happening. So it's a very, very natural part of our existing. If you're so scared of death, it means you are so scared of change. And if you're so scared of change, it means that you're so scared of things not being controllable, things being like right in front of you. And this is the way it is, and this is predictability. We all want predictability. Death is the exact opposite of predictability. So think of it in that way. The fear of death is the fear of change, the fear of like, I can't control this situation, or what if this happens, or what if that happens? And really the whole thing to that is pushing yourself through a discomfort zone. So it's a difficult topic. I love it. And I hate to even say that, like, I'm not even talking about mediumship stuff. The mediumship stuff, I was just meeting with a group of girlfriends, women in business that we meet every once in a while and just sit down and just discuss where we're at. And I was talking about how I'm really changing my work from getting away from mediumship readings and more into, I'm the medium for the living, meaning I want to resurrect the dead parts of ourselves. Because with all this information on what the other side is like, and everything that I know about connecting with the other side and where they're at and where we need to be at, the mediumship is like 1% of the cool shit that I can help people with. To me, it's like 1%. It's just a teeny tip of the iceberg. Death usually leads us to, it propels us and pushes us into a forced change. That's why we don't like it. But I love it because nothing pushes us so dramatically like death. Something has to end. Something has to happen to interrupt the system. And death is one of the greatest system interrupters. So when I look at death in that way, I love it. I mean, obviously, if I think in terms of death of loved ones of me, no, I don't love that at all. But I know there's a much, 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 much bigger picture to that. It's heavy stuff. It's heavy stuff. All right, Catherine, let's see. This is a great question, Catherine. Is tonight a bad night to ask about suicides? Do those souls go to heaven? I love when this question comes across because I'd like to set the record straight, because I do know a lot of mediums have told clients of mine that no, people who commit suicide, they don't go to heaven. They have to like wait and all this garbage. And yes, they totally cross over into heaven. They completely are able to receive the same exact bliss, nirvana, feeling, peace, and love, whatever you want to put the word to it, with the afterlife. They're absolutely able to experience that 100%. The thing with suicides is if when we choose to end our life, whatever it was that led us to that decision, whether it was poor self-esteem or a bad breakup or financial fallout or whatever, mental illness, whatever it was that caused us to take our own life, we do need to come back into the next lifetime and repeat those lessons, repeat the whole thing. So they're stuck on a lesson, if you will. But I might, in this lifetime, I might have taken my life in the lifetime before that, and that my lifetime now might be a replay so that I get it right this time. And what I mean by right is that I don't make the decision to end my life. So I could be on that lesson as well in this lifetime. So I don't want anyone to think like, oh my God, now they're going to be separated from us. No, maybe you're working that out in this lifetime so that you don't take your life and have to repeat a ton of things. And I do always say, like, knowing that you have to repeat your life and it's like a do-over, that prevents me from taking my own life. Because remember, I know a lot about the other side. It's great. And I'd always like this realm is really difficult. This is not always fun. There's a lot of like stupid shit we got to deal with here. So the only reason that it prevents me from not going like, oh, I'm cool, like, let me take my number and I'll go, is because I'm not repeating this. I am definitely not repeating this lifetime. So you got to keep going and moving forward. So yes, they totally go to heaven, but they might be stuck on that lesson. But who's to say that you or me or all of us listening are not stuck on that lesson? That's a great question. Okay. Carolyn, what is the best way to protect myself energetically when helping my dad, who's very depressed? We lost my mom in March. Ugh, I'm sorry. And he's been declining physically. It's draining us as we are mourning too. Oh, that is terrible. It's really a good question because I know so many people can relate either currently or before. Best way to protect yourself energetically. Well, a couple of things. I mean, you could go in to your interactions with him, remembering that he's some man who is mourning. And if you can kind of put him in that category of being a man in mourning versus my dad mourning, my dad depressed, with those labels, that can kind of pull you back from the situation a little bit and make you kind of lessen your unconscious expectations of him, because there's a part of you that absolutely, all of us intrinsically, we always want our parents to be okay and do well and make the right choices. And that's just an unconscious desire we all have. So when they're not, there's that little like trigger, that little girl, boy in us who wants to fix it, or you're really, really sad about it or angry about it. So you want to kind of first pull back and realize he's a man in mourning. He is in a man in mourning that you cannot help, as far as you can't bring his wife. I'm going to put him in that, not refer to her as your mom, but you can't bring his wife back. And he's entitled to this very depressed feeling. Now, so if you kind of look at it that way and say, okay, this man is mourning. He's very depressed. He lost his partner. He doesn't know what he's doing. Put it in that frame of mind. and then jump into your own self and say, I just lost my mom. I'm very depressed. I've got dad to worry about, my own children, my family, and list your things and kind of really create boundaries, I guess, and identities around all of it. That'll start because we want to start lowering expectations of how everyone should be or wants to be right now, because you just blow those things out of the water when someone passes. And energetically, when you do this, it really will help because your mind will shift into a different gear. As far as when you see dad, you're able to see him as a man in mourning, which doesn't mean it's not draining, because it will be draining, but it'll remove you from it, from the closeness of it, and vice versa. And then honor your own. Like, I have to mourn too, because your mom would want you to do that and take care of yourself too. Plus, dad, it's a tough thing, especially so soon. It was in March. If you told me this was like 7 years ago, I'd be like, all right, we're in a different story. So this is all very, very new. So lower your expectations for yourself and him. That's first. Energetically, you could do the whole white light thing and put yourself in white light and put your dad in white light. But to be honest and realistic, I think it's too soon to even think that that's going to work. Although if you do and you're connected to it, then absolutely you can do that on an energetic level. But I go deeper into a practical level. To practical for our energetic body would be for you to like kind of disconnect. Not disconnect, but like put identities differently. Carla, let's see. You believe every relationship in our lives, including narcissists, is not an accident. We are meant to learn from them, even when hurt and pain is part of the package. Growth is beneficial for all. Carla, that's really well said. Absolutely. Yeah. And I just don't like the labeling and titles, because what we do when we say, I'm an empath, I'm a narcissist, I'm American, I'm Israeli, we're just creating these lines of separation. And I'm not that. You're that. I'm not this. This is that. I'm female. You're male. It just creates separation. When at the end of the day, we're all a friggin' same thing. We're all the same energy, experiencing it different. Sometimes we're total assholes. Sometimes we're really, really great and really, really good. And to be really, really clear and focused on who you are and really try to be our best. I really do believe we do try, especially if you're tuning into something like this. You're in the population who try. But yeah, it is part of our growth, everyone we meet. But the problem is when someone says to me, and I get this 100,000 times a month, is, oh, Deborah, I'm going to date this guy. Here he is. And I'm like, no, why? No, he's really great. Oh my God, he's like so wonderful. You have no idea. And I'm like, no, because the same patterns are happening. So if you don't catch your patterns, they're just going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating until you either change them or you pass, and then you come into the next lifetime again with the same patterns. So that's to me just not productive. Like, I just want to get it. I want to understand my shit. And am I going to get all my shit in this lifetime? No, I'm probably not going to understand it all. But the goal is to go, wait a minute, I've been down this path before. I really didn't like it the first 3 times I did it. Why am I going to do it again? So yes, it's all part of the growth and pain for sure. It all's for the better good if you're looking at it that way. If you're looking at it as like, well, this person did this to me and that person did that to me, then you're sitting in a victim consciousness and you're not changing all of that either. So really mindfulness and honesty, being self-honest, where you got to lay it out for yourself and say, man, I let everyone walk all over me, or man, I do such and such just to get people to like me, or man, like whatever our thing is, be aware of it and ask yourself, is that really working for you? Is that really, really working? So that's the key. And anytime we label anything, remember, we're dividing. Anything that's labeled is a division every single time. Sometimes, sure, it's necessary, but it divides things. That's plain and simple. When you take gender, you're dividing it, bang, male, female. Well, guess what? Lots of people don't identify with either one. Who's to say? Who's to say that's not the case? I don't know that. So again, any kind of label divides things. Not to say it's wrong or right, but it just is an awareness. You say you're an American, in America, you probably won't notice. But if you say you're an American and you're in France, all of a sudden you created a separation of some sort. So just pay attention. Be aware. All right. See. Let's see. Yeah, Adina said that you felt like those that aim to heal are so often hurt and mistreated. Yes and no. That's definitely not a universal truth. I always aim to heal and help, and I'm very often not mistreated. Have I been mistreated? Absolutely. The worst are my own family members who mistreated me the most. But I don't have mistreatment like on an ongoing basis. So if that's something you do believe that I would tell you that you would work on that core belief of, all empaths get mistreated, or if you want to help someone, you're going to get hurt because that's what's getting in your way. You can help someone, but the best way to help them is to create those boundaries. That's what I'm talking about with my energy class for healers. That's what we talk about. Like, notice what your patterns are. See what you're doing. If you think, anyone out there, if you think you are going to fix someone through loving them, think again. Unfortunately, think again. Mostly in a relationship as well, but you can't make someone want to change themselves. You cannot make someone want something more than you want for them. And these are boundaries and lessons that are so painful and annoying. But once you realize it, you're able to go, okay, then if that's the case and I want to help this person, I'm not going to give them 100% of my time and attention. Maybe I'll give them 5%. So you have to start seeing what feels right for you. Are you dumping all of your energy into someone you know is not going to change? If so, you're equally a part of the problem there. And not you, Adina. I'm just saying you generalized. So these are stuff we got to be aware of. We've got to look at. Again, be honest, be real. I really hate when people go like, oh, Deborah, I've said this a million times. Like, I'm like really spiritual. And I'm like, that you're trying to convince yourself that you're like a good human being. That's not what spirituality is about. Spirituality is about being aware of these identities that we place on ourselves that are not really real. It's just what we created for ourselves in this lifetime. So when we kind of disassociate with our identity here, we get closer to the core of who we are. And then we're able to see more clearly the core of everyone else. You can't see the positive or negative, or I should rather phrase it like this. You can only see the positive and or negative in any human being to the depth of your own spectrum. So if a person is like here, like, oh, this is good and this is bad, that's all they're going to see in other people, and their life is going to be very narrow. If you can live and expand your spectrum of your own self of good and bad, you'll be able to see and recognize that in other people. So, Kyle, yeah, I would agree. Once we label ourselves as anything, it lowers our vibration. It absolutely does, because our vibration is period. It is what is. Our energy field is magnificent and perfect, and it's the exact same in me as it is in every single one of you. As soon as we say I'm Deborah and you're Kyle, that creates a separation. And now we forget that, wait a minute, a minute ago was the same exact energy. And then we go, oh, well, she's good and I'm bad, or, whatever, all these different labels. And then we put in our heads, and then it's categorized as like good or bad or labeled, and it just creates division. So next time you're going for a walk, just notice, or next time you're in a store, notice how often you're making these labels and unconscious judgments of people as they're going by. It's amazing that we do this all the time unconsciously. So bring it to consciousness and then laugh at yourself, being like, wow, look at me. I'm totally like labeling and judging and annoyed or infatuated with other people. And it's just all these different labels. People are people. Most of us are doing really well. We're trying really, really hard. I really, really believe that. I do. Okay, Aisha, is there a life review when you die? You mean when you transform? That's a better word. Um, yeah, absolutely. I call it the great and ultimate download. It's like all of a sudden we get this download that it all makes sense. Like we know why our parents were who they were and our siblings and our life stories and their life stories. It's like it's like suddenly knowing the history of the world in a nanosecond. It's all downloaded. Every single interaction leading up to you is is just known. It becomes known. So that's the life review. You understand our programming from the moment we pass all the way back to our conception, but we also understand why every single interaction happens. That's in one of my chapters. I think it's chapter 14. I should probably look. Maybe you guys know better than I do. Maybe some of you remember. Hold on one moment, please. No. 14 is I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know what chapter it's in. I really couldn't even begin to tell you. I should probably take apart my book and figure out chapter by chapter specific things. But yes, there is a life review. And I like the way I describe it in the book. I really do, because it starts to bring awareness and attention to every interaction we have. And every interaction we have is divine, and we never think of it that way. And I live, eat, breathe, and sleep this work, and I don't even think of it that way. But in the book, I explain this, whatever chapter it's in. Say you made fun of someone in 4th grade on the bus, and say you hurt that person's feelings really, really bad. When you pass, you're going to go back to that moment in time, and you are going to feel what you made that person feel. So you're going to feel your words from that person's perspective, and you're going to basically become them and understand what you did to them, which is horrifying, which is terrifying. But at the same time, say that same person, because they were bullied by you and made fun of or hurt really sad, they made it their life mission and they become this huge speaker, and they help thousands of people later empower themselves, which is all part of the plan. You also get to feel that benefit as well, because you are the catalyst that made the negative into a positive. So it is so exponential what happens, that really every moment is pretty divine, and every moment is chock full of potential of positive or negative. I would much rather contribute to just positive out there as much as possible, and I don't do that perfectly. I'm not going to ever pretend I do. But I much rather not have my life review where I feel that I really caused someone so much pain. I just don't want I just don't want to deal with that. It's really what it is. Um, Even if it's you know, positive. So yes. Um, I just dropped down. It's so funny. Aisha, this is a paper straw. Yes, and I understand that it's important for our environment and our earth to trans to move over to paper straws. But I gotta tell you, I'm not really a fan of the paper straw like feeling. I should probably just drink it like from the cup. And if I wasn't online, I would, but I'm gonna suck in ice cubes and I'm gonna chew it in front of you guys. But I'm not really a fan of the feeling of a paper straw, but it is a paper straw. Yes. Okay, moving right along. Eileen, how can you accelerate change when you're afraid of change? Hold on. You need things to move quicker. Yes. Go ahead and plant 5 sunflower seeds at the end of right now, actually. Go ahead, grab some dirt and a pot and put your seeds in, and then put some water in, and then put it aside. There's no way in hell you, myself, or anyone tuning into this tonight would ever think or expect that even a sprout would come up by the time we're done here tonight. Nor would we even think or expect in a week from now for that sprout to come. Maybe 10 days, we go, oh my gosh, the sprout's here. But you're not all of a sudden going like, gee, where the hell's my sunflower? Why isn't it 10 feet tall? We understand the concept of time, growth, change, the elements working together. We understand that. We have to apply that to ourselves. We're really bad at it as human beings. We're very impatient, but we have to remember that. What you can accelerate it is absolutely get committed to keeping your focus in a positive slant. Instead of sliding back and saying, I can't believe such and such happened to me, which is normal and human, but it is not productive and it is not going to get us anywhere. You keep going like, I know this is for my highest best. I'm trusting the universe that this is all working out. I am grateful for the opportunities that are coming next. I'm increasing my potential. Come up with some word or phrase to replace what you're wishing isn't coming fast enough. Because if you're focusing on it not happening fast enough, you're going to only get more of lag, more of it not happening fast enough. But you can even say, all of you should practice this week. I'll give you homework this week of great things are coming to me in threes and fives and 20s, whatever you want to say. Great things are coming to me in threes. Great things are coming to me in threes. Great things are coming to me in threes. You keep putting that out there. You'll see all of a sudden, you'll, depending on your awareness level, say you get all the green lights on your way to work. There's one. Great things come to me in threes. Say someone bought you lunch at work that day. Oh my God, someone bought me lunch. Say you get home and the lawn was mowed and you didn't even have to ask for it 3 times. Oh, great things come to me in threes. So sometimes we think like great things, that means like the winning lottery ticket. And yes, I agree. But are we choosing to see our day with moments of goodness in it? Or are we only seeing that everything sucks? And if everything sucks, then lots have to change. Lots have to change. You have to change. Your mindset has to change. Your thoughts about things have to change. That's not easy, but it is very fixable and is extremely doable. That's the thing I'm always amazed at how doable thinking in a better frame of way is. It really is. It is really true a choice to stew in misery and chew over and over and over about something you're upset or angry about, which is normally not in the present tense. It's normally something that's happened a long time ago. And we just it's like, "Oh, I just got new tires on my car. Let me pop them and stab them." Like that's what we're doing with negative thought. So be mindful of that. Let's see. Melanie, how, hold on, I don't know. Is death with dignity the same as suicide if you were at the end of your natural life just opting out to live out the last bit? I don't know if I'm conflicted on this. I wouldn't say I'm conflicted on this. I would think there'd have to be some level of timing involved. And what do I mean by that? I mean, are you choosing to take your life 2 years before your time is really up, or are you really, really at the end and you don't want to suffer and you don't want the surrounding? That there is a difference there. So the timing of it, are you saying like, nope, I don't want to, I don't know. There's a timing thing with that. I do not feel, and this is obviously me personally, I do not feel um that there's any negative ramifications of death with dignity. Negative ramifications of death with dignity. I don't know of any. I'm trying to think back to readings actually and what people have come through and said, but none are like jumping out at me right now. But I'll have to think about that one. And if I do, I'll post it on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, let's see. Yes, I know, Kathy. The religions are saying that people, tell us they're going to hell when they commit suicide, and I wish I understood that they were in hell, which is why they committed suicide. So it it makes me crazy. I mean, nobody wants anyone to commit suicide. My God, it's the worst of the worst experience for them because obviously there was such sadness or hard stuff going on or fear that was going on here. It's hard for the family members and friends who think, "Oh my God, I could have done something differently." It's terrible. It's a terrible way to go. Um, but I don't know historically, like, why religions would say that even. I mean, I would say it's a control tactic. They are, a lot of religions, certainly not all, are taught to create fear, because fear is manipulative. You can get people to do things, think things, say things, accomplish things by what you make them afraid of. So I would have to say there has to do something with fear. Okay, let's see. I do believe, yes, Sandra. Wow. Oh my God. Oh, Sandra, how are you? Um, Oof, she had a horrendous car crash and she got out without a scratch. Do you think you believe in guardian angels? Yes, I absolutely do believe in guardian angels and energies that are to prevent things from happening. However, this one, the flip of it, like I was saying before, I always like to think of both sides. The flip of that are when people's loved ones do pass in a crash or get seriously injured. And they say, well, where the hell were your guardian angels then? Like, were they like off the clock? What was going on? And I really do believe that truly what is meant to happen is what will happen. So if you were not meant to pass in that accident, you're not going to, regardless of how bad it is. If you were meant to, it would have been that accident, or you would have tripped outside in your front yard. So I'm careful that, yes, a force greater than you knew it was not your time. That's what I would say. A force greater than our myself knew it was not my time, knew that I needed to be in this space, knew that I needed to do such and such. That takes that whole argument out of like, well, where the hell was my guardian angel when so and so passed? Because then people get angry. They get angry at God. They get angry at religion. They get angry at energy. They get angry at me, then everyone who talks about this stuff. And I totally don't blame them, because I would think the same thing. Well, damn it. Where was my deceased relative when so and so passed? Why'd they let that happen? It doesn't work like that, but an energy higher than yourself knew where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, would be the best way, I think, to attribute that. Ooh, Linda, you have laryngitis for the first time ever. How am I moving that quickly? Oh yeah, well you just pulled up a lot of stuff with my class. So that's one. Um, that'll accelerate stuff. Eileen already took that class, but that'll accelerate a lot of stuff. Because you're bringing awareness to it, and mindfulness of like some key components of your life where you're like, holy crap, I didn't know that was bothering me. I didn't even know that was in my energy field. And then that's what's actually things that get stuck. But I would say, I mean, you've been doing it a lot. You're focusing in on work and talking with people and healing people yourself. Um, so you're going to move it quickly. But now, are you going to honor it? That's very important. What are you going to do with like, okay, I need to rest my voice for some reason right now. I need to go inward. Let your inward self be heard. Maybe you don't need a voice to it, but you need the internal voice. Think of it that way. Right. Let's see. Oh, Greg is posting up links and everything here. Oh, I have um a new incense scent. I was burning it last week in here. I'm shocked that Greg and the kids really haven't said anything about it, because I've been like dousing this house with sandalwood incense and I'm like obsessed. But I bought a ridiculous amount of sandalwood for this house. But all of that stuff is on my Amazon, I don't know what they call it, Amazon page, storefront page. I don't know what it's called, but all my stuff that my books and my incense and all that stuff is on that page for you guys. And Greg posted the link in the comments. All right. Dina, do I ever think there's a time where you don't ever come back to reincarnate, where you're finally part of the collective whole for good? In Buddhism and Hinduism, yes, there is that. Religions say yes. I would say Yeah, I would agree, but I would also say, like, we're already there. That's the whole point. That was the whole point of my book too, of like, we are already the whole collective whole. We're every experience. I am Eileen, who tunes in, is in a wheelchair. And while I am not in a wheelchair in this lifetime, Eileen is representing a portion of the collective whole. And I mean not just population of people that are in a wheelchair. Maybe I was in a wheelchair 5 lifetimes ago. Maybe I will be in one in 5 lifetimes. Who knows? So if we're really cautious and really looking and aware, we're able to see that everybody is a piece of this collective whole already. So once we've experienced that, then we don't need to actually experience it anymore. So yes, I agree with it, but I think it's more doable and attainable even in physical form. If we are really high level, which I will not be in this lifetime. I have the concept and the framework of my mind because I'm in this and I talk about this and think about this all the time. But in my application of it, no, 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 no. I'm not ready to be one with the collective whole because sometimes I'm like pissed off, motherfucker. I'm like, I'm like mad. So, um, but yes. Does that answer your question? Oh my God, I'm ridiculous. You start to see when I start getting tired, right? See, Jennifer. It's been said that illness and disease is triggered in the body by negative thoughts and energy. How does it account for illness in children? Yes, this came up in the movie Heal, actually. Thank you to Kyle, who really pushed me to watch that, which was a great movie. Um, it would not be in the negative thoughts of the child in this lifetime. And it kind of really piggybacks nicely off of the last question of who was that child's energy in a lifetime before this, because they're part of something much, much larger. So no, absolutely not. Illness to children is not because it's a core belief that went awry or a trigger that went off, or lifetime of abuse. I mean, some of these kids are babies and they're not even, they haven't had a life yet. My brother, who died at 4, he clearly wasn't like thinking negatively to create this to happen. He didn't even know about that. But before, in another lifetime, we're carrying a lot of stuff. We're carrying genetic information in our cells. And in this lifetime, the children who are ill or sick, their DNA, and I do believe that science will prove this, I just don't know when, their DNA is carrying the consciousness of sick cells. So what they would need to do is really work on the consciousness of their cells, which I truly do believe will be the medicine of the future. But how far off in the future? 200 years, 200 years? I don't know. 50 years? If it's here, the concepts are here, but the actual application is not quite here yet. That's a fantastic question. Sue, you said your husband passed Christmas morning and you're being shamed for grieving. How do you deal with people who say, stop this? You leave them. You leave them. I don't care who it is. If it's Christmas, you leave them. You say, what is wrong with you? If it was Christmas 1980 and you haven't stopped, a different story. But if it's this past Christmas, even if it's in the last 2-3 Christmases, that's crazy. So there clearly are people who have not grieved, or they've grieved someone who passed at like 100 years old, which what I mean by that is not to diminish it. It's just that you knew at 100 years old, like that person, it was coming. It was time. They had a long life. So, you address them. You address it. You address them and say, I really don't want you to, how dare you even put a way to grieve on me. If you are throwing yourself at the feet of people, or screaming and crying in public and in spaces and acting erratic, then I would say you would need additional grief support. You would need that. So I don't know if that's what's going on, and that's why they're saying, oh my God, hello, stop. We're like in the middle of the mall and you can't do this. if that's the case, and these are people who really love you and care for you and see that you're acting erratic, listen to them. Doesn't mean you're wrong, doesn't mean you're bad, doesn't mean you're ill, just means you're grieving. But if you're taking a turn that's like erratic, you're still not wrong, but it's just not going to help you to go to that depth. But otherwise, I would say disconnect from them because that's crazy. That's literally crazy. And I'm sorry that you have to deal with that. Yeah, Kathy even says they've obviously not have learned anything. And Kathy's advice you'd tell them to F off. And that's also Deborah's advice, spiritually speaking. Oh, that's terrible. And Kathy can relate. Her spouse passed very recently as well, too. Okay. Oh, that's a great question, Carla. If we hurt someone and realized later what we did and how we made for them feel and apologize to them for how we behaved, do we still have to experience that in our life review? Yes and no, because you will have closed up that loop. You will have come full circle. So you apologizing will take not the precedence, but will take the energy away from that negative. When we do say like, oh my gosh, I genuinely really am sorry that happened, blah, 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 then no, it's not as difficult and entrenched. You will still feel what they felt, but because in order to say sorry to someone, it's because we are feeling what they felt. We are feeling what we made them feel. So if we're doing that in our physical life, then we're not going to have to go through the review so dark and heavy as it would be if we're just like, oh, well, I don't really care. That sucks. So that's a really great question. For sure. Oh my gosh, let's see. I love sharing all your feelings so far of this podcast. It's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Oh yes, Kathy. If someone is on life support and the pending organ procurement, are they in limbo of passing on? Can you communicate with them? Yes. When someone is when they have dementia, Alzheimer's, I've mentioned this before, non-verbal, either autism or anything on the spectrum where there's no verbal communication, and people on life support, absolutely you can communicate with them on the other side. So sometimes, yes, their soul has absolutely passed on, even though their body is still physically here. And sometimes, nope, their body and soul are still here and they don't cross until they pass. I would say it's more likely that their soul passes before their body, because our soul knows we're not the body. And when the soul goes, all right, the body, all right, like, all right, this is, I gotta go. My body's done now. The soul knows that. So a lot of times the soul can leave before the body ceases to function. And I do hear that a lot in readings. Great question. Oh, let's see. Yes, Karen, hello. You read somewhere that we come back as long as we still have something to learn. What if we have nothing left to learn? Are we done and we become part of the collective whole? I don't think we'll ever not. There's always so much to learn, so many facets to learn. It's really like it sounds counterintuitive and the complete opposite of it. It's really an unlearning that we need to do, an unlearning that things are a certain way. It goes back to those labels and talking about things. The minute you say pink, instantly I made a separation from every other color. And it's not bad. Labels aren't bad, but labels separate to define, and definition creates the human mind to create expectation on that being pink versus blue and so on and so forth. So I think we're always really needing to learn something. What we really need to do is unlearn everything and just go into the core. Like, imagine that. That'd be a fascinating meditation of pulling us back from all that we've learned. I was recently doing a workshop and we were doing a silent meditation walk, which I will be doing shortly with all of us here over the summer in my summer camp. I forgot to talk about that too. But we were like to just walk, notice things and like notice how many times our mind wanted to say like beautiful sky versus nope, just sky. Like so often we're labeling things or we could hear as a car was passing, we could hear music and instantly my brain wanted to say, "Ooh, fun music," because I liked it. Um, but fun was a judgment. So why didn't I just say, "Oh, music"? So that's a powerful thing to do to unlabel things and pull back and just say, "Oh, tree, tree." Just know the tree is a tree, not beautiful tree, tall tree, half dead tree, droopy tree, none of those things. It's a tree. Take things for what they are. Jennifer, yes. See, DNA testing is definitely going to be the wave of the future. I mean, because our DNA is so critical, but an additional component is going to be consciousness healing. Um, where is that the consciousness of the cell? So it's even deeper than DNA, which is fascinating. Oh, Sue, I see that you're on here. Oh my gosh. Of course, your dad. I saw your posts. Of course, he's all around you. I remember your dad. I met him at your house a million years ago at one of your house parties that you did way back when I first started. So yes, of course, that he is still going to be around you. Okay, let's see. Same question as Karen, so I answered that one, Diana. And I'm just like not taking personal intuitive questions. I'm only doing more of the generic stuff. Um, yeah, same thing with Stacy. That's more personal intuitive. How do you, Catherine, expand on your question? How do you get more insight on what's the next step? Just what's the next step of what? I don't know if you posted it before. I didn't read it and see it. I'm going to try to look back. I don't see anything. So you could let me know what you mean specifically. I'm so impressed that so many of you stayed on so long tonight because it's the end of the holiday weekend. And before you all groan for me saying that, say, "Oh, okay, ready. I'm recharged. I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to do what I need to do." Like put that thought into a better framework than just being like, "Oh," because otherwise it's everything. We could always be like, "Oh, I don't want to do it." I love what I do. I am truly like so freaking fortunate for what I do and the interest that people have in my work. And there are times when I really just want to freaking stay at home and finish gardening and stuff. Like, doesn't mean you always want to have to go do it. So um the perspective is, and my illness, my issues 2 years ago have put such an essence of gratitude in my being because this whole weekend all I kept thinking is thank God I can do this. Thank God I can do this. Thank God I can bend down. I could get up. And now I can't bend down and get up because my muscles are so sore. But all I kept thinking is 2 years ago, there's no way I would have been able to get on my hands and knees and work like I did. So I'm so grateful that I have movement. So find something in your week to look forward to or to create that mindset or a phrase or a mantra that you want to focus on so that your mind is going in the direction of what is good and what is not good. So, yeah, Catherine, that's more like an personal intuitive question. So start coming to my meditation groups, you guys, online, which is very similar to this format right here. Or come in person, of course. If you do it online, you can't attend it at that moment that I'm doing it. You just can listen to it later. We send you the link and you can tune into it afterwards. But meditation is completely key. Samantha, how do you get a personal reading or set up a house party? You could go to my website. You must be on my mailing list in order to receive the emails of when my office, my assistant Michelle, when she is opening up my calendar. I really don't know when she opens my calendar. It's really when it's good for her, because the minute my calendar opens, the phone does not stop ringing at the center for like hours and emails, bloop, 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 like a million emails start coming in. So my mailing list, go to my website, join my mailing list. When you join, you must make sure that you go look for an email that that's like a confirmation email. You have to click confirm. If you don't click confirm on that, or check your junk, a lot of times it goes to the junk mail. Then it goes there. I lost my train of thought. And then click. A lot of people are saying, like, I didn't get the email, but it goes to your junk. And if you don't click confirm, then you're not going to be on my list. So make sure you do that. House parties, I don't do them as far as I don't go to people's homes anymore, but I do have private groups, and you would come to my center in Newburgh. Those are also hand scheduled. So you don't have to like secure an appointment online, which is difficult. If you get 5, no more than 10, no less than 5. So 5 to 10 people, I always still say try to keep it much as family as possible. But then we hand schedule. Michelle will give you a list of dates that I have available, and we will sign up that way. So there you go. Let's see, upcoming galleries. Good question. Oh, I have one at my center. Hold on, let me check. One moment, please. I'm really like slacking off with galleries and all this. Let's see. Boop. Okay, gallery at the center at my center, June 15th, which is the day before Father's Day. And then I have one at the Poughkeepsie Grand Hotel on June 12th. I think that's all I have for June, believe it or not. I'm really, really pulling back and taking a little bit of a reset on my galleries. So those are the 2 that I have in June. My class, my mediumship, introduction to medium. Even if you don't want to be a medium, how to be able to connect and feel energy, this is that class for you. I have not taught it in like 4 or 5 years, so I'll be fresh. It'll be all new material. You could take all 4, or you could just pop in on one. If you take it online, it will be online. You can attend it live at the moment, or you could just get the recording after the fact. So I personally absolutely suggest attending it live. That's always better, but a lot of you are from around the country and world, so you might not be able to that way. I think that's it. I'm going to keep you guys with your homework for this week. Really come up with a phrase that redirects your energy and your focus to something much better and greater than yourself or your moment. Just remember that every moment will pass. So wherever you're at right now, whether you're really, really good and everything's really wonderful or things are really, really bad, remember, like, this too shall pass. So like appreciate where you are if it's good, or give yourself that breath to know that this will not last you forever. So I will see you all next week. Hopefully I'll change the picture in the background and I'll be outside. And I think that's it, guys. So have a good night. I appreciate it. Hit thumbs up if you want. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.